In this lesson, we will try and make an interesting sports app. So I have the hello world as my starting point, and as we do, I have deleted the hello world, and now we will start making the app. The first thing I would do is let's get my resources right. So I have in my drawable, so I want to use 4 images that have been provided to you with the lesson, and I will copy them and paste them into drawable. And I have pasted them, and then you can see I have gotten these 4 images: Federer.jpg, Messi.jpg, Ronaldo.jpg, and Virat.jpg. So these are the 4 images we are going to use for this making this Android application. So now that we have done that, let's come back, and what we will do here, the first thing we will add is a layout, a linear layout vertical, and we will add it to the screen. Now we will make a couple of changes vis-a-vis what we have been doing so far. So the first thing we would do is we will put the width of this linear layout as fill underscore parent. And why will we do it? So that it fills the entire parent. So whatever is the width of the screen, that gets filled. And the second thing we will do is we will make the height as wrap content. So these are the 2 things we will do for the linear layout. And in the attributes, let's give a background color to the, so let's choose a background color. I will go to color and let me choose holo green light, and I click OK. So this is the background color I have given to the linear layout vertical. Now let's add a couple of image buttons. So I want to add these images, so I will go and add this image to my linear layout vertical, and say the first image I want to add is of Messi. So now this Messi, I just need to pull it and put it into my linear layout vertical. So now this is my Messi, and what do we do for the image button? So it will get wrap content and wrap content. So now you can see I have my image of Messi that has come up, and the ID of it, let's call it ID. Let's for a minute, let's name these buttons as iMessi, or let's call it image 1 only, image button 1. Now let me add another image button, and this time let me add Ronaldo. So I add Ronaldo, and here at times it will give you this kind of thing. So we will just copy the image that we had, and in image button we will just paste it. Okay, and we will put the name of the image here, which was Ronaldo. So now this is coming below it. Now suppose I want them to be side by side. If I want them side by side, what should I do? I will go to linear layout vertical, and I will add a linear layout horizontal to the screen. So I have added a linear layout horizontal, and I will set the parameters as width as match parent and height as wrap content. So what a horizontal, so a vertical aligns it vertically, a horizontal will make it horizontal. So now I will put the image button 1 and the image button 2 in my linear layout horizontal, and for width of this I will make it wrap content, and for again wrap content and wrap content. So now you can see I have my 2 images side by side as I wanted them to be. So I am getting my design right now. So let's remember the steps. We started with the linear layout. Now in a linear layout vertical, it will come one after the other vertically, but we wanted 2 images side by side as we seen here. So then we added a linear layout horizontal, and in that we have put a image button, put the image buttons, and This is the Ronaldo one. So let's call it. First I want is the Messi one. So I just swap it around, and I need to give this guy an ID. So I'll make it image button 2. So now I have gotten my 2 images here. Now I want to add another 2 images. So what will I do? I will add another linear layout horizontal to the screen. And again, for this linear layout horizontal, what I will do, I will give it the value. So this is under linear layout vertical, and it will be so I have my linear layout horizontal, you can see, and I have my new linear layout horizontal, the second one that I have put in. And what will I give here? So like we gave it, the width is match parent so that it stretches and matches it, and its height is wrap content. So depending upon the content I put to it, it will wrap around it. Now that this is done, I will now add my next 2 images. So how will I add the next 2 images? I will put in an image button, and now I want to add Federer. So I have added Federer, and this Federer I'll just move it into my linear layout horizontal. So now this is how my design is looking like. So my image button has come in, and I have my wrap content and my wrap content for my image button 3. Now I need to add my last image, so I will copy my last image and add it again here, and this is Virat Kohli. So I will add Virat Kohli here, and like we did there, at times it doesn't show up, so we will just go to this part, copy the image description, and in the image button in this field again paste it and put in the name of this image. So the name of this image was Virat. So how did I get it? So in drawable I can look at it. So my Virat, so this is my name, so this first name is what I put in here, and you can see that I have my images side by side. So now I have all my 4 images and they are looking nice. So I have gotten my layout. Now I want to put a few text boxes to talk about these great players, these sports persons. So let me add a text box. So I have added a text view, and this text view I need to make it part of my linear layout vertical, but I want it to be at the end of it. So this guy will go up and this guy will also go up. And if I just want my order right, so I have now my order right. So this text view has come in. The width is match parent so that it's matching the whole thing, and wrap content so that whatever I want to show into it, I show it. And let's call this. So we forgot here, so we will just give a button. So this is to the Virat Kohli image. We will give it the ID image button 4. So I have now image button 1, image button 2, image button 3, and image button 4. And now to the text view, this one that we declared, let's make it text view 1. Let's add another text view. So I have added another text view, and this is text view 2. And let me just add one more text view, and I'll come back as to why I'm adding so many text views. So this text view also I added. So now I have 3 text views. So the first text view 1, text view 2, text view 3. So now in the first text view, I want to put in the name of the player, and I want it to be in a larger font size. So what do we do? So this is the button we will click. So here, can you see my cursor? And now I get the options. So as I keep on scrolling down, I will come to an option which is known as text size. So let us just keep on scrolling down. And I come to an option text size. And now when I click onto it, I get options. So I want it in a really large font. So let me make it, or so I can see it here, text view. Do you want it a little larger? So let's make it say 30 SP. So this is now how this text will be shown. Similarly, for the other two text views, the font sizes seem very small to me. So again, the same thing, we will go here and we will go to text size and let's make them slightly larger. So let's make them, say, is this fine, or we want them slightly larger? Let's make them 24. And same thing we will do for text view 3. We go to it and we set it to 24 sp. So now we have 3 text views and we have a design ready for us. Okay. If you want to play around with any other settings of it like color, etc., we can play with this, but in this application we're not doing it. So now that our design is ready, what we need to do is now put in a little bit of code so that when we click on each of these images, we get the name of the player, the sport, and the country that player plays for. So now let's go to our main activity. Now in our main activity, what will we need to do first? First thing we need to do is declare all our variables. So we had image button and control space. When we put, we get our image button, and we had 4 image buttons. So let's make them IB1, IB2, IB3 and IB4. Again, if you want to see it, we had 4 image buttons, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we had 3 text views. And we have 3 text views. So text view, let's call them TV1, TV2, TV3. So these are our 3 text views. Now the first thing we need to do in the code is initialize each one of them. You remember this. So IB1 is image. I have clicked on the wrong thing. So I need to do it again. Image button. And then what do we say? Find view by ID, r.id dot image button 1. Remember, we had made these IDs. Let me just show it again. Image button 1, image button 2, image button 3 and image button 4. Those are our 4 IDs. So I have initialized the first one. Similarly, I'll do the second one. Image button, find view by ID, r.id dot image button 2. And I will do it for the third and the fourth. Image button, find view by ID, r.id dot image button 3, and the fourth one. Image button, find view by ID, r.id dot image button 4. So now I have initialized all my 4 image buttons. Now the text views are left, so we will initialize them. So TV1 is equal to, and in this case it's a text view. So text view, again find view by ID, r.id dot, and what were the IDs we gave them? Text view 1, text view 2, text view 3. So dot text view 1. Similarly, TV2, text view, find view by ID, r.id dot text view 2, and the third one in exactly the same way. Find view by ID, r.id dot text view 3. So now that these have been initialized, what do we need to do? So what we need to do is when we click on one of these images, the name, the sport and the country that player plays for is shown on the screen. So let's start with the first one. So IB1 was corresponding to Messi. So this is IB1, image button 1, that is corresponding to Messi. So let's do that. So what will we do? IB1 dot set on click listener, new view dot on click listener, and then what do we set within this now? So for TV1 dot set text, and what should we say? We should say Messi. Then what will we say? TV2 dot set text, and what did we say? The sports he plays, which is football. And the third one should be TV3 dot set text, and he plays for Argentina. And we are done. So these were the 3 fields we need to set in IB1. Similarly, let's look at IB2. So this is Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo. So what will we do here? Again, IB2 dot set on click listener, new view on click listener, and what do we set here? So TV1 dot set text Cristiano Ronaldo. So we have set the name. Then we say TV2 dot set text. Which sport does he play? He again plays football. So we set it to football. And which country does Ronaldo play for? Set text Portugal. So we put in Portugal here. So now we have done it for these two players. Okay. Similarly, we will do it for the third player. So the third player, let's go back and see what's on the image. It is Roger Federer. So we first need to put the listener. So IB3 dot set on click listener, new view on click listener, and what do we set here? TV1 dot set text Roger Federer. The next is TV2 dot set text. Which sport does he play? Tennis. And then TV3 dot set text. And which country does he play for? Switzerland. So we have done it for the third image, and now the fourth sports person is left, and that is Virat Kohli. So this we can see is Virat Kohli. So let's do it for Virat Kohli also, which is the fourth image. IB4 dot set on click listener, new view dot on click listener, TV1 dot set text. What's the name? Virat Kohli. TV2 dot set text. Which sport does Virat Kohli play? Cricket. And TV3 dot set text. Which country does he play for? India. So now that our coding is done, let's try and run it. So let me go and run the application. So the build is starting to happen. So it's building it. I have pulled my emulator up so that hopefully the build will be fine, and then it will run it on the emulator. So let's just wait, give it a little bit of time, be patient. The build is successful. Now it's installing the APKs. Let's see if it installs it successfully. And my 4 stars have come up, the 4 sports stars. Let's click on the first one. And Messi Football Argentina has come up. If I click on Ronaldo, I can see Cristiano Ronaldo Football Portugal. If I click on Roger Federer, I get Roger Federer Tennis Switzerland. And if I click on Virat Kohli, I get Virat Kohli Cricket India. And this is exactly what we can do. So is this clear? So what you need to do is now ensure that this application in exactly the same way is run at your end. Okay, is it clear?